It is the 28th of December, 2008, on a Sunday at about 2:40 p.m. Took a couple of photos of the cemetery and some pictures while I was walking. Some interesting view of the fog over the headstones and stuff. Very misty. Well, today is considered day 74, but I'm not going to go by the format when I started to really cut down on my medicine, because on the 17th I cut off totally of my medication. So this is actually day 11 of not being on any Effexor at all. Let's see, how do I feel? Well, I've noticed that the dizziness kind of leveled off. I haven't had it for a while. No brain zaps at all, so that's a good thing. For a few days I have noticed that I've had this feeling. It's kind of really tough to kind of put it into words, but it's kind of like the same feeling you get when a room is kind of too hot and your face is kind of warm and you're kind of like not really the best that you can be. Not really a sad or depressed feeling, but it's not really a good feeling either. I don't know, it's really hard to explain it. Now basically, since I'm off this stuff, I've got to do everything that I really can to keep myself busy, and it's going to take a little bit more to kind of manage certain things, but I've got to do it. Even though I'm very fortunate and my life could be a lot worse, it's a part of me that feels that, I've missed out on a great deal. It's kind of a doomy feeling, but at least it's not the medicine doing it. I guess it was always difficult for me to kind of really be happy and to show it. Now, when I look at myself in the mirror, I notice that my normal look is distress, and I have to kind of, I don't like to say the word act, but I don't know, I just feel that a part of me did change, and I can't really say that it was positive or negative. I guess it would be kind of how I was like a half of my life ago, but I don't really know, because I never had the awareness or experience while being off the pills to see if how I felt when I was in my mid-teens up until now would have been a gradual change or a sudden change. I don't know if that makes any sense, but yeah, I know how I felt back then when I was younger, being a kid and stuff, but is this basically the normal me now? In some ways, I'm hoping that it isn't. Although one thing's for sure, I'm not going to go back on that junk. I'm not going to do it. What I've been reading about on how to get past some of the withdrawal symptoms, and I've been reading about on certain web forums, is there are people who have preferences, I guess. People either switch their medications or they go on something entirely different. They take Benadryl or some kind of like antihistamine or whatever, but what I found that really did help, even though if it was for a short time and I had to keep doing it, and a few people have talked about it, is chocolate. Yeah, simple, chocolate. Chocolate raises the serotonin level along with dopamine levels in the brain, but because chocolate has a very short half-life, like about maybe an hour or so or two, you have to kind of keep doing it. But for the time being, it does kind of curb the actual dizziness temporarily. I guess your mileage may vary, but it did help out in my case. I still take a little bit of chocolate, but I don't take as much as I had to before. I took like maybe half of the big bars of like Mr. Goodbar or Hershey's or something, Symphony, and sometimes I'd spread it out and medicate that way. Taking pictures, as you can hear. I'm also noticing that time isn't standing still, and I kind of noticed it when I hit 34 that hours just seem like minutes sometimes. Time does not stand still now for anything or anybody. It has become like there's no tomorrow or something. Wish that I could somehow just slow it down just a little bit, not stop it, but just slow it down just a hint. There are times I still do feel kind of rushed, but it seems a little bit less than what it was before. I was rushed before I came out when I was working on my EVP session from the other day. I felt like I wanted to just get it over with. And for some reason, I felt like I couldn't really sit still. I had to really kind of work at it. Could be that since I've been on this Effexor shit for so long, that it kind of took away a part of my brain that didn't get to experience things, in real time. And I guess I'm getting everything kind of flowing through me, and I gotta regulate that in my own mind. In concluding, I guess, I still have a little while. It's usually a good couple of weeks to be, sure that these withdrawal effects are gone. And it's going to take months before I get back to normal. It's going to take many months. Because even though the medicine itself depreciates and you kind of get back to, I guess, what you could call normal, there's still a part of you that takes time to mend. And that could take months, maybe even sometimes years. I'm not going to expect no miracles overnight or the next week, let's put it that way. I was on 600 milligrams of Effexor back then. 2 at 12 p.m. and 2 at 12 a.m. Now, 300 is a regular dose. I was on twice that. And, there are times I think to myself, many times, why the fuck was I on this dose? What was the purpose of it? That's an overdose as far as I'm concerned. I'm a small guy. And, I wasn't someone who was court-ordered. I wasn't someone who was totally demented, Why the hell did they put me on a 600 dose? According to my therapist, I'm considered chronically mentally ill. Well, yeah, I do have a little bit of mental illness, but I don't think I'm chronic. Acute is the word, not chronic. Believe me, if I was chronic, I would not be here today. I'd probably be somewhere in a state ward with Haldol shots every 6 hours of my life. But I digress on that. There is hope, there really is. You just gotta work at it, that's all. Thank you for listening.